turn this on. Alright, my friends, this is episode 244 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry the Professor at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. Over there is Anthony the Dev at Summer Speak on Twitter, and we have our friend Travis with us again, who is going to regale us with building a computer, or at least getting ready to build a computer. He sent us a group text and asked for a lot of advice, and my advice to him was to get a QWERTY keyboard, because that's all I know about it. And other people
I don't know, I was going to counter you on that. Maybe you should get a Dvorak keyboard.
I'm sure that would be great.
No.
No. They're better.
I mean, they have like the keys like that you normally use right next to each other, right? Is that how that works?
Right next to an under home row.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So you don't actually have to move your fingers as much using them. But you have to, completely relearn everything you know about a keyboard layout. So
Right.
I'm pretty sure that ship has already sailed, and it's not going to happen.
Do you know anyone who uses that?
Nope.
Yeah.
No. Nobody uses them. People that say they use them, they're lying.
Yeah.
Now I want to find one and use one. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that.
I give it like 2 days.
Talk about that, talk about what we're playing, and talk about how chasing a platinum on a game sucks the joy out of it. We'll get to that too, but let's start.
I don't agree with that.
Holy
but okay.
shit, man! Let's debate that later. Let's get into the news of the week, which was basically The Last of Us 2 had a gameplay kind of deep dive.
Yep, the video introducing Inside the Last of Us Part 2 video series.
And when we talked off mic, you said it seemed like it was recorded at least 6 months ago.
Oh yeah, I mean they've done an Inside the Story one and Inside the Gameplay and all this stuff. It was very well produced, so it's clearly made pre-COVID stuff. And the game was coming out in February. This stuff would have originally ran leading up to the release in probably into December, January. And so to me, this is all just held. And now they just moved their marketing the many months till the game was actually going to start coming out.
Right.
So yeah, they've done a story one, which I haven't watched. I still don't think I watched that one. I can't remember it. Or maybe that's the one where the gameplay stuff that they're talking about is coming from, and I did know that. I don't know. But the gameplay one, I watched it, and their big thing, which never actually you're like, wow, that from a development standpoint, I understand why it's a big thing. From a consumer standpoint, you're going to be like, what? Okay. You can jump.
Okay. All right. I think
so
about...
from a developer standpoint, that extrapolates out into a lot of additional design. If you can jump, there's more the levels generally are more vertical.
Yeah.
It opens up to a lot more choices beyond belief.
It changes, like if you add a jump button to a game, that changes how you approach level design and designing the entire game.
Assassin's Creed, for example, look at the first one, no jump, and as the game evolved, they added in that functionality, and the whole world changed in how they approached it.
Yeah.
It's something that's weird to me. Something I've noticed in God of War, which I don't remember if the other God of Wars had a jump button, but there was no jump button in God of War. It's kind of like a button that you use to climb things, and that's fine, whatever. The game's great, but Kratos can jump. Like he's capable of jumping. So why don't they allow you to jump?
They use the contextual jump, right? Times.
You'll
go to a ledge and then you'll go. It's like because as soon as you start letting a player be able to jump, the complexity of your level design goes up tremendously.
Yeah. Because
that means they can, I don't know, jump onto the side of that hill there, clip through things. You'd be mad. I mean, look at all speedruns.
Right.
Mario 64, people are still finding glitches in that. How many years later using the jump to get through stuff and speedrun that?
Yeah, it just increases the complexity. If you know that the character is going to stay on the ground plane, the terrain, that nav mesh, then there's so much less you have to worry about as a designer and a developer.
I never thought about it in terms of like limiting. I guess it's what did Miyamoto say about Mario? Like just having like a very limited design scope really allowed like a lot of. We had to reuse assets, right? Like the clouds are the same thing as the bushes, just a different color.
Yep.
So that limiting kind of, I think it's done to great effect in God of War. But I think about like Horizon Zero Dawn, where I'm just continually trying to jump up the fucking mountain to get to shortcut. Spend like half my time doing that.
And I have to believe sometime during the development of God of War, they tried jumping.
Yeah.
Or at least it was on the table and it was removed at some point, where they're like, maybe they got it in a very early prototype. Maybe it didn't even make it to prototype. They're just like, no, we're not going to do that. We just know that that's a step too far, that we're not. There's no way we can make the game that we want. Because you have to imagine that combat system, if you were able to do like jump combos and attacks and stuff, would be pretty badass. But at some point, they're just like, no, the scope is too much for that. Last of Us 2 decided they're going for it. So, I mean, in the trailer, they show him, like, Ellie jumping up and, like, clambering up buildings and on top of things and all sorts of stuff like that. It sounded like they started with a much more limited jump as well. They were like, well, you can just, like, climb up things that are about the right height and get on top of stuff. And then they just said they just went all the way.
It kind of makes sense for like puzzle I guess I'm just like stuck in Zelda right now, but like Wind Waker, like a Forsaken Fortress, there are like ladders that are just above your head and you can't reach it unless you like, bring over a block or whatever. So it adds to the puzzle solving mechanics.
Wasn't that a huge thing back in the day with Ocarina of Time? The fact that they didn't have jump? Like, weren't people...
Which Zelda games have a jump?
They don't, but there was the one into 3D, and the only thing that had been done by Nintendo pre-Ocarina of Time, like big 3D, was Mario, and it had the whole jump and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh, Ocarina of Time, I remember it was like, you just walk up to a ledge and you will jump that direction that you go off the ledge.
Right.
But you can't just choose to jump out of nowhere.
Yeah, same with Wind Waker.
Yeah, Wind Waker took the same thing until you get to Breath of the Wild.
Right. Well, there's I'm playing also Link's Awakening, where you get that item and then you can jump gaps. I forgot the item, like a feather or something like that.
Yeah.
Was that in the original? If any of you have played that one?
Well, not in the way that you can use it in that game. But you could use it to jump, like get across gaps, but not do the like flip over things in the 3D space, of course.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So in terms of what that allows you to do in Last of Us 2, does it really just expand like your thought process about how you can like get around the clickers or whatever the fuck they're called? Yeah,
it definitely feels like it's a much more that was one of the things that fed into in that video, was like wanting to give players more freedom in how they want to approach scenarios. And to make that much more realistic for the player. So I think it's all good. I don't know. The game is really dark though. Like,
yeah,
I cannot play. It was so violent and so dark, and even in that, and I'm like, wow. I don't know if I have the mental capacity right now to deal with that.
That's kind of where I'm at. Travis, did you play Last of Us?
No, I mean, I played part of the first one because everyone's like, oh my god, this game is so good. And I started playing it, and I was like, this is just really kind of depressing.
It's very depressing.
And
yeah.
I don't play a game... Like, some games I play for the story. I'm not going to lie. But usually that story is something that's fun or entertaining or just really unique. If it's really depressing and heavy and weighs on you, then I'm just sitting there going, I play games to escape, to have fun, to enjoy myself. Like, that's kind of the equivalent of watching, what was that one really depressing movie you and I watched way back in college? About the
Dream.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like,
yeah.
A really great movie, but my God, it's really great in the fact that it was done really well and it gets its message across really well, but it's really depressing.
Ever again.
And I will never watch that movie ever again because it sucks the life out of you. And that's kind of how I felt with Last of Us. It just kind of felt like it was sucking the life out of me. So I got a few hours in, I was like, going, dude, I'm out. I can't do this.
My thing about Last of Us is that for me, it was the story, the end. Like, I really enjoyed the character interactions between Joel and Ellie, and then where it ended up. But the gameplay, and I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I didn't.
It's competent. It's good. I mean, it's not bad. It's just like.
Yeah, I mean, when did they put Last of Us 2 out? Was that
When they put Last of Us 2 out?
The Last of Us came out
13, I think. It was cross-gen.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It has. I'm just trying to think of Naughty Dog's years of gaming when they put that one out compared to the different Uncharted's.
I thought it was post 3. I thought it was like Uncharted 3 and then Last of Us.
Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Last of Us.
Yep.
And it was like 3 years between 3 and The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Uncharted 3, 2011, Last of Us, 2013.
Yep.
Oh, 2 years. Yeah.
It's just, it feels like the response, or not, I don't know if it's like a response, being like a Fallout and then Skyrim kind of thing. Like, we're going to do this kind of action adventure, really, kind of what you're saying, Travis, just the story that is either uplifting or entertaining or fun or whatever, and then, like, contrast it with this, like, story that's none of those things.
Yeah.
Well, like, even God of War's story is not 100% happy. Like, it's got some pretty dark moments in it, but...
You're spreading your wife's ashes by the end, That's a little dark.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of the game,
Right,
is to get your wife just died, and now you have to take her ashes to the top, the highest point. Okay, that's a really depressing thing to kind of do. But what the story really becomes is a father and son getting an understanding of each other. And that jumps to the forefront very, very quickly.
Right.
And it lifts that weight of how heavy and depressing the whole situation is. Whereas Last of Us, from what I got, it's still some kind of similar between Ellie and I can't remember the other
Joel.
Like Joel. Like, it's supposed to be like a father kind of becoming a father again, and a daughter becoming a daughter again, and then becoming a family.
Right.
But you don't get that. Like I didn't get that in like 3 hours of gameplay. I know that's what it's supposed to become, but it takes too long to build up, and I couldn't do it.
No, I think you're right. The one thing about that is that it really makes the ending hit, because it basically subverts that and makes you just, spoilers for Last of Us. I'm not going to say the ending, but it makes you pissed. It really makes you pissed because they turn that on its head, and you see someone in a different light. So it took all of that build up to get there. It just was a lot. But I thought it was worth it in the end. But I felt like the game was maybe like 5 hours too long, too many clickers, too many zombie battles. Yeah.
I was so done with zombies when that game came out. Oh my god.
Well, I don't need post-pandemic or current pandemic fucking Seattle. I don't know if Anthony does either.
Nope. It's cool.
That's the other thing is I think Last of Us 2 is kind of hosed anyways, because in the current climate with whatever things going on, do people really want to go through something that depressing again? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it will sell well, but I don't think it's going to sell as well as it could have, and it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
Oh, I expect it to be a success. I'm just thinking that it's not going to be as good as it could have been.
It's not going to actually. I weirdly think it's not going to be Animal Crossing successful.
No, and Animal Crossing obviously is a great game. The Last of Us 2 is going to be a great game, but Animal Crossing is a fucking great game on top of, like, casual, low-key, happy,
Yes, reinforces that
right, which is what we
feeling.
need right now, right?
Yeah, so. It is the truest form of escapism from real life chores to fake chores. But
which is why I've never understood why people love those types of games so much.
So dumb. But I enjoy it.
It's like the whole Farmville crap all over again. Like, let me build my virtual farm. Dude, go outside and make one.
Farmville was those games pissed me off more than anything because it was all about exploiting your friends.
Oh yeah, totally.
I hated the social game mechanics that I was in the middle of it. Never had to work on one that did it, but it was very adamant of being like, if you're going to make a social focused game, can we not make the connections and your friendships currency to spend in your game? Because that seems not the right thing to...
How else do you get data on people?
Yeah.
Were you ever at PopCap, like, did they ever encourage people to go that route, developer-wise?
No.
Yeah.
No. There were some teams that... No, they didn't even go that far. There was a team in San Francisco that we bought that did a Facebook, like, PvZ game that no one really played, of course. but it had some of those mechanics to it. Not as aggressive as many other companies, but any of the stuff I worked on never went that way. It was like Bejeweled Blitz was just like, hey, the leaderboard is your friend group, so you're playing against your friends for a top score, which is much more arcadey. Like, it's high score chase. That's great. Good competition there, but it was never like, hey, get more friends involved so you can get something special. We didn't do anything like that. So maybe that's why in the long run those games petered out and other games became much more popular in that space. But there was a lot of designers that were pretty anti doing that at PopCap.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if your designers are gamers, right, and the people who are in charge of making those decisions are gamers, they look at that as a gamer and say, that makes me sick, or I don't like that, I'm not going to do that, despite how much money it could make us.
Yep.
I think, at least.
Yep.
It's
had those conversations.
Yeah, I bet. It's fun. I don't know if it's funny the right word, but you have Last of Us 2, and we have Ghost of Tsushima just right in a row, and for me personally, I was way looking forward to 2 and not looking forward to Ghosts, and now it's completely flipped where I'm not even, I don't think I'll get Last of Us 2 for a while, but I'm like super excited about Ghost of Tsushima, and it's basically what Travis said. It's an escape. Like, it is like not anything like where I am at right now, and that's what I want.
Well, yeah. Plus, I don't know, that game, I'm not like you, and probably because I didn't have any attachment to The Last of Us, I was always after Ghosts, primarily, because that game is more my speed anyways. That's more my style. Something that I can sit there. For example, you and I were talking about the God of War, and you're like, how long, we were telling Anthony how long you could beat it. I was like, well, you could probably mainline it in less than 30 hours. For me, I'm looking for a game that I can sit there and I escape into the world for a couple hours, for the next 3-4 months. And like 2 hours a day, 3-4 months, 6 months, even better. So that's why Ghost was already up my alley, because it's like, I'm going to buy that game, and I might not buy another game for the rest of the year, just because if it can eat up enough time, I'm good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of similar. I'm going to get Ghost. I'm hoping that I could that will grab me enough to get me through to September 19th.
Oh, Cyberpunk.
And then that will guide me through the rest of the year.
Animal Crossing to Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII actually didn't last you very long. You took that in a week, I think.
I mean, it wasn't a small number of hours.
I know, but still.
I did play a lot of it in big bursts. It was Animal Crossing, and Animal Crossing has just been in the background through all this. It was Final Fantasy VII, and then I finished that, and then I wanted more Final Fantasy, so I was playing Final Fantasy 12 on the Switch again.
Right.
I've just kind of been bouncing around at the moment. That's just how it goes. Kind of waiting for the next thing I want.
Yeah, which is now? No, 2 months. That's 2 months.
Yeah.
I'm kind of where Travis is, though. Like, I'm excited about games that are long enough where I can put 2 hours a night or 3 hours a night every other night or whatever, and it lasts me a couple weeks, and it's just nice to like think about that world and get back to that world. And I don't think that Last of Us 2 is the one that's going to make me walk away feeling super stoked that I was there. So glad they had a gameplay video. I'm glad people are excited about it. I hope it does well. Naughty Dog's a great studio, even though they crunch their.
Yeah. To have games that you can. Yeah. Play many hours is a new PC.
That's true. You can play your old Steam backlog.
Backlog.
No, or you can prep for a game that's 8 years old.
Or you can do that.
True.
Which is nice about the PC. It's all backwards compatible, basically. So.
Oh, yeah. The reason why I bring that up is because PSO2 comes out on the PC this week.
That's true.
For the first time
in the West.
For the first time in the West, for a game that I've been wanting since 2010 when it was first announced, and I kept holding off thinking I was going to come to the U.S., coming to the U.S. to the point where I finally gave up hope until Microsoft saved us. Don't ask me why, but I'm thankful. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it. Why not? I played the original Phantasy Star online.
It's free.
It's free.
It's
like,
free?
I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Huh.
It's a free-to-play game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So cosmetics and all the other fun stuff, and you can get boosters and all the other fun jazz.
Yeah.
To speed up leveling.
I mean, it's a Asian free-to-play game.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was the what the fuck was it? The Saturn that it came on? What was the one that it came on?
Dreamcast.
Dreamcast. Thank you.
Phantasy Star Online was on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
So
you're building. Obviously, you're not building your new computer for the specs for PSO2.
Oh God, no.
So Anthony just built one. Let's start there. Like what you put into your new rig, which was basically like you said, basically rebuilding because you did everything except for the tower, I think, right?
Yeah, the last time I upgraded my computer was 2014, end of 2014. So it's been almost 6 years.
Yeah.
And that I had some Intel build of 4770K, something like that. It was a nice CPU, like a really nice CPU at the time. Did I have an ATI graphics card of some sort in there? I did at that point. It was all fine back then, and it lasted me quite a while. I was doing development in Unreal, and it could compile things nice and quick at the time, or what you would expect. Skipped 6 years ahead, and now we're in be at home times, and I'm having to use my home computer to compile Astroneer, a full shipped game in Unreal, and a full build was taking me 2 hours. So that was starting to get a little unacceptable, especially after I'm learning that I'm going to be working from home at least for another 2 to 3 months at minimum.
Right.
And I don't really want to bring my work machine home, so it was a good excuse to just be like, all right, let's upgrade this so that I can compile the game from scratch much faster if necessary, and then do incremental compiles in like 5 to 10 minutes instead of like 20 to 30 minutes, so I can just be more productive. But it can help me along the way with my PC gaming too. So
nice side benefit.
Yeah, I did not go all out as what I don't even think Travis's is all out is the thing. I just went with a much more. I was looking in the line of I want stuff that will run cool and be less give me performance for power draw in a lot of ways. So I went with the Ryzen 7 3700X, which has a very low power draw for the speed that it's at and everything. It's like something like 65 watts for this 8-core 16-thread CPU with fine clock speeds. I was really just looking for something that would have a minimum of 8 cores, 16 threads, so I could compile my stuff faster. So it was very, very efficient processor. And then I went with a 2060 Super for my video card, which was... Well, as far as I've told now, I've played Control, everything max. The thing is, I don't have like a 4K monitor or anything like that. I'm running 1080p. So as long as I can hit 60 frames per second, 1080p, I'm fine. And benchmarking everything, it does well, far more than that. And this should last me for quite a while. And it'll be good for Cyberpunk, which I'll probably play on the PC at this point, but...
Did you pre-order it? I thought you pre-ordered on PS4 or something.
I know, because I wanted the collector's edition, and that's the only way I could get it originally.
Okay.
But I'm probably buying it for both.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because there's been a couple deals on the PC version to get it cheaper. Like, I think I've got it for like $45 or something.
That's what I got it for PS4, was that.
Yeah.
That's why CD Projekt Red is the most lucrative company in Poland now, because we keep buying mini copies of their games.
There you go. Then I put in 32 gigs of RAM. More RAM is better, and that should last me a while. And then I moved to an NVMe 2 PCI 3 hard drive, which is all fancy lettering for it's like a super fast SSD. That's not. Nice. It's like a little stick that sticks into your motherboard as opposed to like a drive connected by a cable. It uses the PCI Express bus, and it's what the PS5 is talking about using. They're using like PCI 4 stuff that's out there that are super expensive and crazy. But I can definitely tell a difference between even my old SATA 3 SSD and this NVMe drive. Like
it is noticeable it's that much faster?
3 to 4 times faster.
Wow, Jesus.
It is noticeably faster.
That's crazy because my
Yeah.
SSD is just lightning fast, and it's
Yeah, this is even more lightning fast than that.
dang, that's crazy.
So, like, it's not a huge build. I think I spent like $1,100 total on
Yeah.
my build, and
Mhm.
like I said, I kept a case that I already had, and I had a power supply already.
Right.
I got a motherboard that had built-in Wi-Fi in it, so that helped out. That cut a little cost there.
Right. I have to buy the card for that.
Yeah, I didn't have to swap in my card, and actually I get a much better Wi-Fi signal now.
Nice.
Because I am not in a place in my house where I can actually run cable easily to where I'm at.
Mhm.
But I should do that. Maybe that should be a project I take on. I should just run Cat5 through my attic and drop it down on my walls.
I wish I could. I wish I could get it through my house.
One day.
Yeah.
But it runs like Control was my benchmark thing of being like, okay, can I run Control with RTX ray trace, all that ray tracing stuff on highest ultra settings and keep 60 frames per second at 1080p? Yep, not a problem. Looks great. So I'm probably good for another 5 or 6 years.
That's awesome. Future proofing slightly.
Yeah. And
What
when we're
about
talking with Travis and everything? AMD right now is pretty significantly on the top with their latest generation of processors. Because for whatever reason, Intel slacked off. Don't know. They just are in an old manufacturing process, and they haven't increased to the smaller die sizes that AMD has in the past year. And like the CPU that Intel just put out a CPU this week, the 10,000 series, that's still on the same old 14 nanometer die, and it's why they draw more power and they run hotter. But AMD, since the past year, has been doing 7 nanometer, so super tiny cores. So they can pack more cores onto the same size of chip, the whole thing. And they generally run just as fast at less heat, less energy. So, I don't know. Intel is in a weird place right now, and in their thing. I'm hoping like maybe next year, maybe the end of this year, maybe next year, because of COVID stuff, that they'll have whatever their next generation of processors is. But you're going to likely have to get a completely new motherboard to run it. So,
well, if people are upgrading this year and they go the route that you've gone, then they're not going to need to upgrade for a while. So.
No, and AMD has said like at least they have at least 1 or 2 more generations of chips that will work in this socket, CPU socket.
Right.
So
you're kind of locked in that ecosystem basically.
Yeah.
So what's yours look like, Travis? Or what's your goal?
My goal is to go back to the way I used to do things, which was build a gaming PC that will last me for 5-6+ years before I really have to look at it again.
Yeah.
Since moving down to the Bay Area almost a decade ago, I've been in places where I haven't been able to have a desktop, so I've had laptops. Went from an Alienware, which I spent ungodly amount of money on, overpriced as hell, but I can't build a laptop, to a little Dell XPS, and we had this conversation on text before. This thing overheats really, really easily. And it has to do with the way they built it. So I'm so fed up with it that I was like, okay, I have space, I have time. I'm going to go back to building my own PC again. But being out of the game for almost a decade, I was sitting there going, I went off of what I knew, which was straight to Intel and a few other brands I knew. And then that's when I started the text. I was like going, dude, I'm going to talk to people that have been in this a little bit more often than what I have been. Anthony, especially, since, he's in this world on a regular basis. So I was like, okay, let's see what you guys say. And I'm glad I did, because I would have glossed over AMD, just because I've glossed over AMD for as long as I can remember.
They have their time, but I mean, it's been a while since they've had CPUs that are truly competitive to Intel.
I was going to say, the last time they were truly competitive that I can remember was late, like around 2007, 2008, I want to say. And then again, they disappeared off the market, as far as I knew. So I'm going not top of the line. I'm going a little bit higher up the bar than what Anthony did, just because I'm going for something that for the next 4 years, well, at least the next 2, you put out a game, I'll be able to put it on max settings and not have to worry about it at all. So I'm looking at a Ryzen 9 3900X. I'm going 32 gigs of RAM again, but I'm going with the DDR4 3600 speed because I want it as fast as possible. And just like Anthony, the NVMe 2 solid state, because I've seen what happens just with work laptops going from a solid state SATA to an NVMe hard drive was night and day.
Yeah.
And that was just crunching Excel docs, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Nothing
it
even
blew
that
my
major.
Mind.
Yeah, the first time I booted up an NVMe, and it was the first generation NVMe computer, my laptop for work. It was I think it was a ThinkPad. Holy crap. I hit the power button, turned around because I was like, oh, I got a minute or so, turned back, within 10-15 seconds it's already loaded up and then wants me to put in my password. I'm sitting there going, what?
Yeah.
So I put in my password thinking, okay, it's going to take a couple minutes because of all the security crap that needs to load up and everything else, and it's like I could have snapped my fingers and it was like, done, ready to go. So
yeah,
there's a world of difference going from just a straight solid state to NVMe, and then so I want to see what the difference is between NVMe and the newer NVMe 2. So
what's your rig altogether, like proposed cost?
Proposed cost about $2,200.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about right.
But you also got to take into consideration that I have to buy a case, I have to buy a power supply, I have to buy an OS, all stuff that Anthony didn't have to worry about because he's already got those things.
I did buy an OS.
Okay.
That's the only thing I did buy was an OS again.
Yeah.
Because I'm still, my other computers, I didn't want to do the hassle of trying to reinitialize the OS. It's always obnoxious, and I was like, it's not going to work, and I'm going to be pissed. So I'm just going to get the OEM while I'm doing it.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, tacking on the case and the power supply alone tax on another like $300-400. So.
Yeah, it's a good investment. The one that I have here is mainly Brad's old computer. I bought like a really nice graphics card that I can't remember what the fuck it was called when it was going on sale, basically. But it lasts me forever. I'm doing my upgrade, which is basically only buying a monitor.
There you go.
I've been working from home, teaching and shit on my 13-inch MacBook Pro, which is fucking tiny, right? So then when I'm down here on my desktop in my closet, it's just like the screen is huge. This 27-inch screen is so like amazing compared to the 13-inch. So I'm gonna get a second monitor for my MacBook, and just like that'll be my main monitor. Come to find out, this monitor down here is only 24 inches. So my new monitor is going to be even bigger because I'm getting a 29-inch ultra wide.
Oh my god, it's like the monitor. I have two 30-inch monitors at work.
Yeah.
And my home monitors are 24s. But like, there is a thing when I'm at work. I was at work there, and these two 30-inch monitors, and I'm just sitting in my chair, and it's just like wall of screen. And I can't even I have to kind of sit up out of my chair a little bit so I can look over my monitors at other people.
It's kind of like your cubicle blocking you in.
Kind of, the monitors create a wall. It's intense. I'll live that.
I'm already good on the monitors. I have two 27-inch Asus monitors that have 144 hertz refresh.
Oh, nice,
so,
nice.
And I will tell you right now, the refresh rate makes a world of difference.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Because I used to just run whatever back in the day, and then I switched over to the 144s, and the refresh rate, I'm sitting going, I can never buy a monitor that doesn't refresh at 144 at least.
Yeah. Once you are exposed to it, you can't really go back. For me, who has not experienced that, I don't know if I would I don't feel like I'm missing anything until I'd see it.
You don't realize it until you set it up, because I had the two monitors before that were just your normal, I can't remember what the refresh rate, 60
hertz. Yeah, 60 hertz is like your normal TVs and stuff.
And so then I hooked these up, and I'm sitting there going, oh shit. It was within 30 minutes. I took the old ones down, put the new ones up, and I started to go, whoa, instantaneous difference. To the point where sometimes I actually unplug the PS4 Pro from the TV in the office and plug it into one of the monitors, because I'm just like, please just make my game look a little bit better.
Yeah. I just got it's a it's a 1080p one. But the 21:9 ratio is going to be pretty good, and it's just like that the horizontal real estate, so I can have several different tasks open at one time, as opposed to my MacBook where they're just layered on top of each other. So I'll have my MacBook there as my second screen, which will be nice. And I just got a standing desk from Costco, the ones that we have at work, which is basically goes on top of your desk, and then just the hydraulics lift it up and down to where you need it to be. Because I've just been surviving until the end of the semester, and now I'm finally able to think. And I was briefly considering getting a new laptop, but I just can't justify it. $1,500. Something where my MacBook is still working right now. I was impressed
by the thing that Brad sent across. That is a good laptop for $1,300.
It is really nice, but I just can't justify it. If my laptop were broken and weren't working, I would have done it. But it's still working for what I need it for.
It fell. Oh.
You have to use it as a tax write-off since you use it for work.
I mean, I feel like the tax thing has changed so much under this new president. Like last time we itemized, it didn't fucking matter. So
itemization doesn't matter unless you're doing a hell of a lot.
Exactly. So maybe this year the home office deduction is going to be
home office, new laptop. Could
I did home office. I mean, I own mortgage deduction, house stuff as well.
Yep,
and we didn't even make it. Like,
yeah,
we were close. We got close, but
yep. No, it's changed.
For a married couple, it was like, wow, okay, I guess I need second home to make this worthwhile.
Right. I mean, we paid more taxes. That was great. So itemization didn't help us at all, like it usually used to. So thanks 45.
It's hard to tell with my wife working from home in her own business. Our taxes are more complicated. She does them though, so it's great.
She does them though, so
yes,
makes it pretty nice.
Yeah.
So what are we playing, guys? Wow, nothing, huh?
What happened? So Civ 6 was free, so I've been playing Civ 6.
Oh, that's right.
One more turn. Just keep playing.
It's hard to put down. It's like Stardew Valley. Another day.
A little bit. What else have I played? I played a lot of Terraria. Holy crap. People at work were playing, and then they just had their final update, and I've just been digging into that. That game has so much more to it than I was expecting. You're like, oh, it's a little 2D Minecraft-y type thing. Oh no, it's a full RPG. Completely and totally. It has crazy depth to its mechanics and world generation and how you have to work at summoning bosses and the whole thing. And there's a whole hard mode that takes your world and kind of revamps it with 20 more bosses or something. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's like $10. I highly recommend it if people like that type of 2D side scroller thing, but you get to just destroy the world as much as you want and build stuff in it. Right. So, that one was a lot of fun. Played anything else? I don't think so. I've been doing a lot of work.
Yeah. I've been playing it at night a little bit. Played a little for I think that's the fourth time. Played the first hour of Arkham City. I just keep playing the first hour over and over again. I want to get through that game. It's really good. That Arkham series is good. I just have not.
Sure? Are you sure it's really good? How many times
the Arkham series?
Start it?
No. I don't mean City. I don't know if City's good or not. I just like the Arkham games.
Yes.
I do. I like the combat and I like the story. Arkham Asylum is really good. Like that.
I never got too far into City.
Man. Oh, yeah. I've got an hour in many times. But I finished Night. I finished Asylum. I'm hoping to finish City as well. But then we played some Rocket League that night. We were all playing. Stayed up way too late playing Rocket League. There's a new mode where when you hit the ball, it just arcs toward the goal no matter where you are. So you're basically playing a lot of defense and just shooting the ball across the stadium to each other, which is kind of fun. But two things I've been playing a lot: Wind Waker with my daughter. We have just gotten to we've gotten the ice and fire arrows and the power bracelets, and we're going to get the iron boots. So the Temple of Gales in the north, and then go to the temple in the south, and then dust that off on toward the Triforce pieces. My daughter is just obsessed.
Take out the Triforce piece stuff, or
no? They shortened it.
Okay.
And I don't know how they shortened it because it's still fucking long and annoying. You have to get the Triforce charts and then go find the 7 Triforce pieces. It's just, to me at least.
It was annoying even then.
But man,
I liked that game a lot. but
Yep.
getting from island to island and on the boat was just so damn tedious.
Which is why I like the fast sale, which I had forgotten about until today. And after 20 hours of the game now, or 15 hours of the game, got the fast sale to auction house, so you can go wherever you want as fast as you want, or faster, and then the wind just goes with you. You don't have to keep calling the wind to change direction. But I can imagine that being so irritating on the GameCube,
Yes.
where it was slow and you had to keep changing the wind. And but man, she's obsessed, and that's why I texted you guys, like, do we do Spirit Tracks or Hourglass next? Phantom Hourglass. And you're like,
Yeah.
Phantom Hourglass, because it's the next part of the story, dummy.
Yeah.
So she just loves Tetra, and she loves Toon Link, and who she calls Baby Link.
I don't think I ever played Spirit Tracks.
I didn't. I know I didn't.
I did Phantom Hourglass, and I don't think I did Spirit Tracks.
Well, I tracked down a used copy on Amazon and spent $50 on a fucking used DS game.
Jeez.
My daughter she loves Toon Link and Company, so we're gonna keep on that train.
You tell me
That's
that's not on the
exclusive.
Nintendo eShop?
It is on the Wii U eShop for $10. But
Really?
I don't.
It's on the Wii U eShop, not even on this. Wow.
Yes, no, it's just on the Wii U eShop.
Come on, Nintendo, get your shit together.
So the reason why I didn't buy it there is because the dual screen thing, obviously, is better on the DS or 3DS, where you draw your path on the top screen, and then your boat follows on the bottom screen.
And the Wii U sucks, so.
I mean, we're playing Wind Waker on it, and it's great. It's my Wind Waker machine right now. And then obviously playing God of War. So I have gotten through. How many other? There are 8 total, right?
9 if you count the.
Oh, the Queen. Yeah. So I had to take it down to easy difficulty on the last one.
Oh, come on! You cheaped out on it, even.
Yeah, no, I'm going for the platinum now. I don't care at this point. I played the normal difficulty the whole way through and up through the first 4 Valks, and then when I got to the Muspelheim, when I got to the can't get hit, fucking trial, I was like, no, fuck this. So I'm down to easy.
Wow. Okay, now, sorry, I just lost a little respect for that right there.
Hey, we play games however we want to play on this podcast, man. You play any way you want, man. You're not going to shame me. It's not going to work.
No. I have no problem with
Okay, it's working.
playing on easy because you're trying to get the story. That makes perfect sense. Sometimes if you just want the story, put it on the easy mode just where you get it. Totally cool.
That's what I did with Horizon, because I was like, I'm done.
But if you're actually trying to platinum it, that means you're not in it for the story anymore. You're in it for the challenge of getting the platinum medal. So
no, I'm not. It's not a challenge for me.
That's where I started to be like, knocking it down to easy is kind of wussing out. But hey, whatever.
I don't agree.
Well, it's clearly the developers didn't care. They're not
exactly.
Walking the trophy behind difficulty. They just want content, I guess, at that point. They don't care if it's challenging or not.
Yep. So it comes down to
developers do that because they don't care, or they do it because they don't want to hear the backlash and the bitching.
No, they just don't. They don't care. That's a choice.
Backlash.
Most developers don't give a shit about the backlash. Be honest.
Hey,
Because you're damned either way. You're never gonna make everyone happy. So don't try.
A huge stink over Dark Souls not having settings on difficulty. I remember people getting really upset over that.
No, there was definitely a conversation about like make it more accessible for more people, and the developers like, this is the game we want to show. Yeah. This is how we want to play it. We want you to play it too.
It's a developer choice.
Yeah, it's definitely a philosophy in terms of you want the game, you want the content accessible to everybody. So if you make X difficulty and you can't get whatever for lowering the difficulty, then there's some content that some people will never see. So that's challenging. Destiny. Like the raids and stuff. Like if you weren't at a certain level, or if you couldn't get enough people together, you just didn't see some of the comments. A little frustrating. I think for more casual players,
it was specifically for Bungie developers. It was, but that's like the bane of most MMOs.
Yeah,
is that raids and the higher end stuff? Less than 5% of your audience sees that content, and you spend how much time and resources to make. It's always that push pull of like, cool, we dumped a bunch of cool stuff into here. That's really cool. We'd love if people saw it. Oh, only a small portion get to see it. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that must be disappointing as an artist. Not everyone sees your stuff, and I think in Destiny, Travis is probably can speak to this. Like the raids were some of the coolest things in Destiny or
Yeah,
Destiny
I've
2.
heard that. I've had to watch streams of it because I'm just like, holy shit, these are amazing.
Yeah.
I'll never
I
get together to play.
Well, so for me, I guess since I come back from my background is primarily in MMOs for the past 20 years, from EverQuest to World of Warcraft. So I'm kind of used to that whole concept of only you have to get a group together. And sometimes I understood in D1 that I didn't have enough people playing. That I was like, yeah, I'm not going to see that raid.
Right.
When I got that chance to do it, I jumped on it, pure and simple. And because, yes, to be quite frank, to this day, by way of Bungie and Destiny raids, the best one, in my opinion, still exists in Destiny 1, and it is the Vault of Glass. It's the first freaking raid they made.
Right.
Period. Because they added in mechanics that do not exist anywhere else in the game. They didn't before, and I actually thinking about it now, they still don't exist in Destiny 2 anywhere. Period. So you get to see some things that you will not see anywhere else in those games, which is cool.
It's kind of a cool, for people who are like the most committed to the game, they get something special. I get that. That's totally cool.
Well, on top of that, though, there's ways for developers to make it to where it becomes accessible to more than just that top 5%.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
WoW,
for example,
WoW did that a lot as time went on. Because they actually, Blizzard spoke to this pretty regularly with WoW, of being like, yeah, we would like it so that more of the stuff that we put in so much blood, sweat, and tears into gets in front of more people in the end.
So, like, WoW in particular had the LFG room where it's the thing, hey, I'm like, this is my role. I'm looking for these raids. And then it would pull across all over the place, find people, and it would build a raid, being like, okay, I know for this raid you need X number of tanks, X number of healers, X number of DPS, X number of crowd control.
Yep.
And they would throw them all into it. And then on top of that, it would sit there and say, okay, we did this. You guys don't all know how to communicate to each other, so we're going to dumb the mechanics down a little bit. We're going to make it to where it doesn't do as much damage, or the phases aren't as difficult as they would be as if you went in the normal way with a group of people that have
communicating.
Have Ventrilo up or whatever. Yeah. Well, back in the day it was Ventrilo. I don't know what it is. These TeamSpeak or whatever it is nowadays.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I'm sitting there going, as someone who comes from that background, I'm looking at Bungie going, dude, you guys have in-game chat already. You could kind of look off of this and build off of it. But hey, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Yeah. But yeah, it's a thing. So I would just expect with God of War, with Sony Santa Monica, they were like, sure. Is there anything, trophies or anything tied to difficulty at all?
Nope.
No. Is there? I'm trying to think if there's any. Like, is there any in-game rewards that happen based on difficulty, like better gear?
No.
No, you get the same stuff. I think it's just the rush of the challenge.
Sure. I do know that there was somebody on a stream from someone else I watched was talking that there's this one streamer last week. What's the final Valkyrie? What's her name?
The Queen. I don't know what her name is.
Sigrun?
Something
like that.
So they spent whatever the hardest difficulty in the game is. They spent 14 hours before they beat that boss. 14 hours.
Yep.
And they were dying at like 2% for like.
That's where it comes down for me. Is that for me, and that's a weird thing with the platinum, is that I like the platinum games that like I really respect and like had a really enjoyable time with, to feel like I saw everything, but then it just becomes a time analysis where I've got 2 hours a night. I'm like, I'm not. I don't know. But I see your point where like it's the challenge. So then if you beat the game, whatever, and then you want to do the challenge, why take it down? Like if you're there for the challenge, but I'm just not anymore, at least.
Well, I mean, here's the other thing is, look at my history of games I play too. I love the Dark Souls and the Bloodborne and the Sekiro, where there is no difficulty setting. You get what you get,
right? And
the challenge is the challenge. Like there's no way around it. And in a lot of those games, I actually my goal is to beat the bosses solo. You can call in backup. You can call in for help. Bloodborne is a great example. I every boss in the game I've beaten by myself. There's one of them in the expansion. The very first boss in the expansion literally took me 2 weeks of trying, and that thing killed me well over 100 times before I finally beat it. But I refused to call for backup to get someone to help me do it, just because I was like, no, dude, this is my challenge to me. And the thing is maybe it's unique to those games, but this is kind of how I approach all of them now, is all those 100 plus deaths, 100% on me. Every time I saw the mistake I made and saw my death coming before it happened. So I learned from it and got better, to the point now where if I play that game, I could probably take... You and I were talking about this, Larry, about you possibly playing it. If you could get me in that game with you, I could take you start to finish with it with ease, because I've just trained myself to how to play that game. And that's kind of how I'm going at God of War too. Like, the normal difficulty to me is kind of what the developer intended it to be. And so that's the way I approach it. It's like, okay, this is my assumption. This is what you intended it to be. So this is how I'm going to take it. And I'm going to force myself, not only force myself, but I'm going to challenge myself to play the game the way you originally intended it.
Well, and that's something that stuck out to me playing the game through to the the critical path, basically. Like, I refused to lower the difficulty because I enjoyed that challenge. Like, there were times where I was like, I cannot fucking beat this person or whatever.
Stop button mashing, and then it was okay.
Well, okay, if I get a little better at gaming, yes. But I wanted to see it through in that setting. But as soon as I was done and knowing I wanted to go toward the platinum, I told myself, I will see how far I get on this difficulty, because the Valks are just going to destroy me. And by the time I got to Muspelheim right at the end, I was like, nah, I have limited time. I can't do this.
See, this is one thing you keep saying that I disagree with. You keep saying, when I get better at gaming, when I get better at gaming. It's not that you need to get better. There's no getting better. It's just slow down.
No. I say that because I'm just making a joke.
I know, but I'm just saying, like...
Because I also really... I'm not really button mashing.
Well, no, but are you, for example, when you went into the Valkyries, were you listening for the audio cues and stuff? Like I told you, if you hear them yell for Valhalla, you need to shoot the shit out of them with Atreus fast, because they're going to do something that you need to knock them out of the air for.
I find listening to the games distracting, so I listen to a podcast while I play.
Okay. See that?
I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking kidding.
I was like...
I would be surprised.
Oh my God,
no.
I just turn audio off. Why do I need that?
Wow.
No, I'm totally kidding. No, same thing with Brad. Like the slow down, be patient, look for the cues. Like once I did that with the Valkyries, like I was doing well. They'd shoot in the air, and you did have the unblockable thing, and I'd use Atreus to knock them down. Like but then at a certain point when I got to Valk 5, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hey, whatever. For me, each one of them, I approach it as each one of them teaches me a lesson that I take throughout the rest of the game. So
yeah, totally. And I know that the way that I'm playing it right now is going to fuck me, because when I get to the final queen, I'm going to kick it back up to normal, because I don't want to stream that or have people watch me do that on easy. I want to do it on normal, and because I'm not going through the steps with these, with Valkyrie 5, 6, 7, and 8, I probably won't learn the things I need to learn for that last one, who does a combination of what all the other people do,
Because each one does actually build off of the other if you do them in order, because
But
so
I just don't want
difficulty change mechanics or just health and damage.
I've noticed that it's health and damage.
I think it's just health and damage.
Yeah, so you're at least, yes, you're getting through it, but at least there might be showing you all the mechanics that you'll be seeing.
Right, and the last Valk, it was on easy, and I still probably died 5 times, before I figured out the whole pattern,
Yeah.
So I'm still dying, which says something, I guess.
No.
No, you're figuring the pattern out.
Yeah. Well, my problem, and it's always been this way, and this is what Brad gives me so much shit about, is I get so impatient when I get like the last, like, I don't know, like a third of their health bars left. I just start fucking tanking like crazy when I really shouldn't be tanking. If I just took another 5 minutes to just slow down.
Oh, you go into a blood rage.
I do, all the time, every single time.
It's almost like you just need to put a piece of paper over their health bar on the screen.
Actually, that would probably help me a lot, because I am definitely looking at that bar and saying, okay, well, now I can rush in.
Yes.
And just go nuts.
I was kind of joking, but I'm actually kind of serious at the same time, because that's
I think it's a good idea, actually.
I never pay attention to the health bar, and I learned that from Dark Souls, because I used to do the same thing in Dark Souls, like, oh, dude, 2 more hits and that boss is dead. And I would go in for it, and then they just one-shot me with something because I got too aggressive with it. So I learned
that happened
from
about
that
12
game to
times.
sit there and just you ignore that health bar 100%.
They will die when they die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You focus
No, I think that's
on
a really good way to change my perspective, because I
Yeah,
definitely stare at that health bar. I'm like, okay, now I can do it.
yeah. You just focus on the mob or the boss, whatever you want to call it. You focus on them, ignore the hub, ignore everything else. The only thing you need to watch for their visual cues, their audio cues, and know when your abilities are available to be used. That's
I
everything
wonder
else.
if you can turn off health bars in the HUD. That'd be kind of cool.
Yes, you
That
can.
would be
Oh, God, because now that you say that, like, that is totally true. I'm just like looking at that health bar,
I'm
which is also fucking distracting.
almost positive you can turn them off. I remember seeing an option in there to turn it off, at least in God of War. But yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely, once I took it on the easy, like, I was not really taking much damage, I was like, oh, okay, it's a damage and health thing, which I wish it were more mechanical based. Like, I think that would be more interesting, but I think that's more difficult to code probably, huh?
What?
So you're coding like 4 different games almost.
Oh, if the mechanics change based on.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's you're exponentially creating yourself more work for each variation that you want.
Right.
And then you have to test them all. And make sure that changes in one difficulty don't affect changes in mechanics and other difficulties. I'm sure your QA team would love you for that.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, I mean, that's why most of the times it's only just health and damage changes. Because, there's only limited amount of time and money to be put into these things. So
Right. No, that makes sense. I'm having a good time. I just feel like, and this is the kind of platinum thing I want to talk about, and maybe it's partially because of the difficulty thing, but I feel like it's the same way with other games that I really enjoy, like even Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I platinumed. At a certain point, I don't know if I'm sick of the game or like not enjoying it as much as I was, because I fucking enjoyed God of War all the way through, and Odyssey too. But then when you start grinding out for like collectibles or whatever, it's just annoying.
That reminds me of something I read earlier this week, where the lead designer for the original Assassin's Creed, they were asking developers online what was the worst phrase they'd ever heard in development, and the lead designer for Assassin's Creed was CEO's son played the game.
Oh, I saw that.
And because of that, they added in a bunch of collectible garbage.
Yep.
To make the game last longer. Which, kudos to them for what they accomplished doing it.
Yeah, it was in 5 days they coded in a bunch of collectible shit.
With minimal bugs, too, which is insane.
Was it the original Assassin's Creed dev?
It was the original
original Assassin's Creed.
Who was that guy? He's not at Ubisoft anymore.
It was Ubisoft Montreal, I think, too.
Assassin's Creed. Who was... Jade Raymond was the producer, and Patrice?
I can't remember the name.
Patrice was the what was his title? He was a designer on it. He was like the head designer. Let's see. I'm just trying to find the tweet because I want to know it.
I saw it on R Games.
I'm trying to remember where I saw it.
Was it a tweet?
It was a tweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it. I want to say. Oh, there it is. The wild story behind why the first Assassin's Creed had side missions.
The CEO's kid played it and said there's not enough to do.
Yeah.
So it just comes like God of War, for example. Like, I'm enjoying whatever difficulty. I'm really enjoying the Valkyrie stuff. But when I have to go find the Odin's Ravens and find like the last whatever collectibles, it's just a little annoying.
No, and that was kind of what my point is like that tweet added in because of that CEO's son. They added in a bunch of stuff that didn't have anything to do with the story, didn't have anything really to do with the game.
They didn't have time to do any of that shit.
Right. No. This isn't a knock on.
No, not on them.
Like on them.
It has to be just tacked on at that point.
Right. It just has to be tacked on, and I kind of feel, and I don't think this was the catalyst that started it, but I kind of feel some developers feel the need that when they get a game done, it's like, oh, the game you beat the game, for example, God of War, you beat the game in 25 hours. No, we need more content in there to keep them playing it longer. Right. So let's just add this garbage in to give them something else to do. Like the Odin's Ravens and God of War, at least it somewhat ties into the story a little bit. At least
it definitely
mythology,
does,
but it's just there's 55 Ravens. Luckily, you only need 51 for the achievement. But the fact is there's 50 of these stupid little birds that are hard to see randomly throughout this giant ass map, and they're all in the sky. Some of them are sitting, some of them are literally flying around. It just gets annoying.
Yep, totally annoying.
And
I'm at 30 ravens, and I'm like, I still have to find 21 more. God damn it!
Shit, that's a lot.
Yeah, I've found 54 of them, 53 of them. The last two I think are in the two of the Valkyries I haven't killed yet.
I mean, I'll be honest. When it comes to stuff like that, so like say Horizon, they had a few. It didn't have ones of that many, but it had its like 3 categories of collectibles, and it was like
50 viewpoints, metal
50.
flowers, and something else.
Yeah. At some point, I was just like, print out list. I finished the game. I'm just going to go down checklist now and find all of them.
That's kind of what I'm. That's kind of what I'm doing. That is that
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like all the underwater
with the islands
locations. Yeah, I was.
Underwater locations. Yep.
Yeah, I only had to find out because of one island, because I was like, why the fuck isn't this? I've uncovered the entire map. Oh, right. No, you haven't. There's this, like, zoomed out 3-pixel thing. You zoom in on, oh, that's a unique place you can go. All right, I guess I need to go over to that island that's, like, 20 feet wide. But the underwater locations, I was just like, I just need a list. Because there are a few that are just out in the middle of the ocean. I'm like, I'm not going back and forth on the ocean for hours until I find them.
And that's kind of where I'm getting at, is that like a game like Odyssey or a game like God of War, if you liked Horizon Zero Dawn a lot, like you enjoy it so much, you want to like kind of see everything there is, but then when you get to like this end game, a lot of everything that there is like mopping up collectibles.
Yeah, collectibles are just very short. They're a cheap way to add those extra padded hours.
Right.
Like,
well, I mean,
that's what they are. And that's sometimes they tie into the story, and a lot of times they don't. They're just like, hey, we want to give the completionists something to do. And I should say that there are different types of gamers that fall into different categories, and some of those people are completionists, and that's for them.
Well, it scratches that itch for sure, and I definitely I am a completionist in that. I don't know, like thinking about like Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which is, I've gone on record many times, fucking love that game, probably still my favorite Assassin's Creed game. There were some collectibles that were really cool because they're like pieces of London history.
Yeah.
And then there's a fucking trophy for knocking down 50,000 like destructible objects. Which,
again, I think that's someone just added an extra 0 by accident there.
Couldn't they just patch the 0 out then? God damn it. I'm still knocking shit down just to get that fucking platinum, And part of it is like, it's a platinum, just like it's a digital fucking badge. Who cares? But I just feel like when I walk away from God of War, I want to say that I've done it, right? Everything. And
see, I don't even look at the trophies half the time. I don't think I've platinumed a single game. And
that's good.
And the reason being is I play the game to play the game. There's only 2 games I've come close to getting a platinum on, and I will eventually do it. And it's not because I want the platinum, it's because what I have to do in those games is still play the game. So for example, Bloodborne, I've gotten everything except for 1 trophy, and that's to kill the last boss in the last challenge dungeon. I just haven't done it.
Yeah.
That's all there is. I just, for whatever reason, I got distracted and I didn't go back and finish the last dungeon. Okay, whatever. I mean, it's not pertinent to the story, but it's still part of the game and something to do that's not just running around collectibles. Like the last boss actually adds some context to the world. So yeah, I'll do that. And Nier Automata is the other one because I'm missing 1 weapon.
Oh shit.
That's it. Or no,
that would drive me nuts.
Well, no, it's just I know where the weapon is. I just haven't gotten it.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And then after I get it, I have to level it, like upgrade it to fully. But again, that's playing the game and using the weapon. That's not that big of a deal to me, so I have no problems with it. But like God of War, will I platinum it? Probably, just because I've done pretty much everything there is, and I think the last things I have left is just to play the game. Will I beat the Queen Valkyrie, the last one? Maybe. Maybe not. It just depends on how the rest of this game goes.
Yeah.
I might get to the point where I beat the story because I still haven't beat the story just because I took a break, but I'll probably finish it out this week. And if I beat the story, I might be like, okay, I'm done with it. I don't want to touch it anymore.
Yeah, I'm similar. I mean, the first game I platinumed on PS4 was Diablo 3. How did I platinum Diablo 3? I just put a lot of hours into playing Diablo 3 of all different types. Hardcore mode of each character, hardcore each character, cool. Let's just playing the game. Finish the game, cool. And then like a bunch of miscellaneous stuff that's just like, hey, if you're playing this class, this will eventually happen if you put the time into it. Nothing. It was literally just playing the game. It just took hours of playing the game that I was already enjoying playing. So, why? That wasn't hard. Horizon was because when I finished the game, I was so close to the platinum. Yeah, so the few things I had left to do that were kind of annoying, I knew they wouldn't take that long, so I just did it. Odyssey was the same way.
I think those are my that was Odyssey for me. Right? You get to the end, you've enjoyed the game so much, you've just done a variety of different things, and you get to the end, you have like 3 trophies left, right? And you're like, okay, well, I'm this close. Like this game,
I can just do this, even if there's side things that are like out of my way, but I can do them.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I just don't look at the trophy list to begin with, so I never know.
It's usually only once I beat it.
The only reason I know about the God of War one was just because I was giving Larry shit a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was the only reason why. Otherwise, I wouldn't have ever looked at the trophies on it because I was like, I don't give a crap. That's just me. I play the game to enjoy it, and once it stops being fun, I walk away from it.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Anthony, it was Charles Randall that put that tweet out.
Charles Randall? Who's he?
At the time, he was the team lead on artificial intelligence at Ubisoft.
At Ubisoft, okay. So he was. Oh, so it was an engineer, not a designer.
Yeah, sorry, I got it wrong.
That makes more sense. Patrice was the main designer. He did all the press back in the day for that game.
Yeah. Yves Guillemot. I'm going to butcher this man's.
Yves Guillemot.
Yves Guillemot. He was the CEO.
Yep. Well, yeah. When the CEO has a thing, your son or the CEO plays your game, got to expect changes are going to happen.
Yep.
I mean, Anthem, anyone?
That story, that totally thing.
Right.
Yeah.
God, now I want to go and fucking make Anthem my next game. But that seems like
that's just gonna hurt you.
Something. Yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm just hurting myself. I'm already hate reading a book right now. I don't want to hate play a game.
Anthem goes cheap again.
Eventually it will be better. Maybe.
Anthem goes cheap again. I'm going to buy it just in the hopes that when the new version of it releases, you automatically get it buying the original.
Well, it is right now. It's on sale on PS4 for like $9 or whatever. Depends on what you mean is cheap.
I don't know if Anthem's worth $9.
Anthony and I did wait till Destiny 2 was $5 before we bought it.
I did. I bought Destiny 2 for $5.
You should have waited a little bit longer and it would have been free.
I know, it's free now. It's fine.
Oh, I know. Fuck, we know. Yeah, we figured that out.
Yeah, but still, it was still...
Episode 200, we were screaming about that.
Why not?
Oh, man. All right. Anything else you guys playing this week?
No, not for me.
All right, folks. Well, this was episode, I forget, 224? God damn it.
244?
244.
424? 442?
I always give you a fucking opening to do that shit to me. It's 244 of Prof and Dev Play Games. Really appreciate Travis being here. Anthony is at Summer Speak. I'm at Prof Plays Games. If you like us, tell a friend. If you don't like us, tell 3 friends. And we'll see you next week.
Later.